What's up, everybody? I'm Erik Slater, and you're listening to episode 88 of the Who's on Top podcast.
Welcome back to episode 88 of the Who's on Top podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Fox, and we have a very special episode today. But let's first meet our analysts. First, the Joe Buck of women's college basketball, Ellis Gordon. How you doing, Ellis?
What's good, guys? I'm doing good. How are you, Foxy?
I am doing well. Thanks for asking. You never ask how I am.
Today's a good day.
Okay. And next, our sports gambling insider. He doesn't care about the facts. He just cares about his winnings. Jacob Kasdan.
What's up, guys? Let's talk some sports.
And finally, introducing our regular analyst, we got our astronaut in the ocean, the mayor himself, Jeremy Giles.
As always, at your service.
And we are very lucky to be joined, our first guest in quite a while, Syracuse Linebacker Erik Slater. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course. So we want to hop into some questions first. Jacob, you want to take it away?
No, you got it, Danny.
Wait, I gotta pull the slide up. Sorry.
Or Ellis, do it, because you're hosting.
I'll just do it, Dan.
Kick it over to Ellis.
Thank you, Dan. Prepared as usual.
I was.
All right. So first, let's start off with, we know Erik Slater, but let our audience know who Erik Slater is. So how do you end up at Syracuse? What's the transfer process like for you? And why did you decide to transfer from Lehigh to Syracuse?
Well, I graduated from Lehigh, and I played 4 years there, and then it was really a COVID thing. I mean, I was graduating, and with COVID, everybody got the extra year of eligibility. So I had another year. Lehigh, the situation, I felt like I kind of had done what I could there, and I wanted to get into broadcasting. So it's really cool, to come on a podcast and do this with you guys. And, if you guys, I'm sure you guys know somewhat, but Syracuse, is the best of the best when it comes to broadcasting. My sister went here undergrad, and she was in Newhouse, the communications school here. So I was looking at options to transfer, and I had some offers from some smaller schools, D1, but I really wanted to go somewhere where I could pursue that. And, Cuse was the best. So I applied to school here. I spoke to the coaches. They had a spot for me, and, that was the story.
Yeah, I may not be at Syracuse, but I'm also a broadcast. Well, probably being a broadcast inspired, some sort of field around that. So I semi-relate. So anyway, let's start off though from way back. And why did you start playing football? How did you start playing football? Take me through that. When did you start?
I started playing football. I played flag and probably starting in kindergarten. I started playing tackle football in third grade. My dad's a sports nut. I played 3 sports: basketball, baseball, football, all the way through high school. And probably, I always knew somewhat that I wanted to play football in college, because if I wanted to go D1, I didn't really have the height or athleticism, I don't think, to fit the basketball profile. But football is it's always been a game that I've really enjoyed. All my coaches have always said it's the only place really where you can hit someone and get applauded for it. So it's it's a fun game, and some of my best friends and best memories will always be from football, and started young and never wanted to stop.
All right, I'll take the next question. I'm back with the good audio. Can you take us through a typical day in your life as a college linebacker / special teamer?
All right, I'll take you through. So this year, typical day, wake up. This is every day during the week, I say Monday through Thursday. Wake up at 5:45 in the morning. You get over to the facility, eat breakfast around 6:15 a.m., have a special teams meeting from 6:30 to 7, then have a position meeting and a unit meeting from 7 to 7:45, maybe get 20 minutes of treatment, lift from 8 to 9, practice from 9 to around 11:30. Then just class the rest of the day. Sometimes a meeting at night, depending on what happens with game prep that week. So it was different at Lehigh than at Syracuse. So at Lehigh, we practiced and met in the afternoon and got all our lifts done. Then at Syracuse, they do it in the morning. So depending on what college program you're at, that's kind of how it goes. But yeah, I'd say it was probably 5:45 to 11:30, 12:30. You're at the facility, and then you're free for most of the rest of the day after that.
Yeah, no, absolutely sounds awesome. So I guess my next kind of question is, I was kind of seeing on your profile that you were named to like the Patriot League Academic Honor Roll twice. And for me, I guess it's kind of like, I know I did sports at high school, and I know it's very hard to kind of keep balance. So I'm just curious, like
Jeremy's tries hard to keep balance, even not doing any sports at John Hopkins.
That's also very true. Also very true.
Hey,
How much hours of sleep did you get
talking,
yesterday,
man.
Jeremy?
About 2.5. But
All right.
anyways, my question was, how are you able to kind of keep your academics up and like focus on that while doing sports? And I guess for me also the question is like, which one's kind of your priority? Is there a priority? Like,
I mean, it's not easy. I mean, it's weird because when you talk to people, I feel like who play football or just sports in general, like a lot of people will say they do better in school during the season than in the off season. Because in the off season, you have so much time to, like screw around or F around. I don't know if you guys can curse on this or not, but
You're good.
yeah, you got it.
But
you
you got so much free time that you're kind of just doing some shit that, you probably shouldn't be. And during football, it's a lot more structured. You kind of know what you're doing. But for me, I mean, I never really had a problem with school. I get what I need to get done. I'd say, the right answer is that school is the priority. But I mean, during the season of football, like most of your energy is, I'm not going to lie, like most of your energy is focused towards football, your game planning.
Class ever?
Yeah. I mean, you want to sometimes, especially at Syracuse when you're getting up every day at 5:45. But yeah, I mean, you find time to get what you need to get done for school. But, football's on your mind during the season all the time because you got to think about what's going on at practice, game planning. And it's just, I don't know, it always just, kind of consumed me, to be honest.
Yeah, as a person who fucks around a lot during my free time, I can semi-relate. But yeah. So let's talk about like the actual games and playing. Any superstitions? We asked Mikkel Jones this, so I think this is a good question we have to ask to all players because I'm always curious about that.
I mean, I don't think that I have any specifically. I know some of my teammates were extremely superstitious, like eat the same thing every single breakfast before every game, like wear the exact same, like armbands, gloves, like the same exact kind of thing. I didn't have any to that end, but I mean, I just always wanted to feel good going into game day. So as long as I got enough sleep and was good and stuff like that, I think I was all right. But yeah, I mean, no superstitions. What did Mikkel say? Did he have any?
Would go to like the.
I think he said the same. I think he said the breakfast. I think that was. I believe he said. We can look back, and I believe he said breakfast and lunch were the same. If he
a lot of
lunch.
said that, and then said before every game he would go to the far end zone from where you guys were.
Oh, right,
yeah,
that was the second one.
Yeah. I mean, I think breakfast and stuff like that is like. I think breakfast and also just like certain kind of like treatment and like your pregame routine. I think that's kind of like superstition to a certain extent. Like people don't change that stuff up because if you change that stuff up and you have a shitty game, like that's the first thing that you think of, even though it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'd say.
So
I'll take
I
this.
think,
Oh.
so I guess I think with our next question we are thinking is, so what kind of NFL player do you model your game after? Like, is there a particular person or is it more general?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of play like a very specific position. I was like a walk down outside linebacker. So I wasn't quite a defensive end, but I wasn't like an inside linebacker. So if I had to model my game after someone, I'd say, some kind of edge rusher. Like the classic answer I would give was TJ Watt. I'm not a TJ Watt. I don't want you guys don't quote me on that and say Erik Slater thinks he's TJ Watt.
There's a lot of people who listen to this podcast. They're gonna have some things to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that caliber of
You look a little like him.
Yeah, I would never say I was the most athletic guy on the field by any means, but I just think like when you look at his technique, especially pass rush wise, like he incorporates a lot of different moves. He knows how to set up his tackles and his rush, and I think that's one of my favorite guys to watch because, I mean, he's a freak athlete, but he's not like, he doesn't look like a Myles Garrett or even like a JJ or something like that. Like he's a freak athlete, like one of the fastest guys off the edge, but he looks a little more like practical, if that makes sense.
I mean, we got Ellis who likes to compare himself to Jamar Chase. So after that, no comparison.
Just a bit.
Is
What,
unrealistic.
Flag football in the quad or something? Is that like?
We have our tackle football games.
Yeah,
And I occasionally dust Dan.
yeah. They call me Daniel Sorensen.
Yeah.
He actually sucks. You didn't know.
Yeah, that's why they call him that.
Might hit the gritty once or twice.
Okay. Let's move on to our next segment of questions. These are rapid fire questions. We're going to ask you, try and make them fun, really quick. So we'll start off. Who would you rather tackle, Derrick Henry or prime beast mode Marshawn Lynch?
Marshawn Lynch, just because Derrick Henry is, I mean, there's not really a good answer to that, but Derrick Henry is one of the biggest running backs I've ever seen in my life. So
I think,
Marshawn Lynch.
What did Mikel Jones say? He said Derrick Henry, right? After debate.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Yeah.
I was curious about that. Anyway. Keep on going, Foxy.
All right, I guess I'll take the next one. If you could pick off any quarterback, which one would it be? There is a correct answer.
Like currently active or no?
Currently active. We'll count Brady as still active.
I mean, it's got to be Brady, right? I mean,
No, that was totally the wrong answer.
that was the why is that?
No, we're looking for Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers.
He's obsessed with Brady. He hates Rodgers.
Yeah, I hate Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, a lot of people hate Aaron Rodgers. Guy's kind of a dick.
That's a really good
He's
point.
kind of a
That's a
dick.
really good point.
I respect him, but I'm not a huge fan. I like Brady. I'm a big Brady guy.
Oh, okay. Glad we're having you on. All right. If you weren't a defensive player, what position on offense would you want to play?
Quarterback, no question. The quarterbacks they have the toughest job mentally, but physically they never get hit. They're always feeling fresh, and they just, they get all the glory. So either quarterback and like a really swagged out like slot receiver would be my next answer. Yeah, something like that.
That's a good answer. All right. If you couldn't play football, what other sport would you play?
Basketball, no question. I mean, I played all the way through high school, and it was my best sport originally. I played AAU out of New York City, and
that's cool.
I had I was on a pretty good team with some guys who are playing professionally now, and that I didn't have the height ultimately. I was more of a linebacker height. So if I had 2 or 3 more inches, maybe I would have played basketball. Who knows?
Who are you playing with?
Riverside Hawks was the name of the team. There's a few guys. I mean, Donovan Mitchell played for the team, but he was, I think, a year or 2 ahead of me. Ty Jerome and Eric Pascal are 2 other guys who played for Riverside. So they were in the grade above me, but I got to practice scrimmage against them and stuff, which is
pretty cool.
One of the guys starts for Wake Forest that I know pretty well, who Isaiah Mucius. Yeah, he started. Yeah. So I got to see him play a couple weeks ago, which was cool.
All right, so I know you referenced that you're trying to get into sports broadcasting. So what would be your ideal role in the field?
I mean, in a perfect world, I'd be like Woj Shams and be an analyst. Either that or play-by-play, like Iron Eagle's my guy because I'm a big Nets fan, and I think Yes Network has the best broadcast team out there.
I agree.
Yeah. And outside of that, I'd say maybe just be a radio host, like either nationally on ESPN or on WFAN, which is the main station.
Yeah.
Because that's just, you literally just get to complain about New York sports all day. Like, what better job could you have?
Are you I assume you're a New York sports fan.
Yeah.
Yankees.
I'm a Yankees, Giants, Nets fan. Those are my teams.
Well, if you're looking for someone who's an expert at complaining, look no further than the man to your left. He loves to complain. Refs, stadium, food, doesn't matter. All right.
His Twitter is very entertaining.
I got a question for Eric, just because I'd say I know the Syracuse football team pretty well name wise. Who would you say is the one person you would not want to date your sister on the team?
Oh my God, Leon Lowry. That's literally, we went through the locker room. We went through the locker room and asked that question.
Quick.
People do that on like TikTok and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I think
Everyone's
8 or 9 people. Yeah, 8 or 9 people said Leon Lowry, and it wasn't just your sister. It was like, if you're trying to mess with a girl and she follows Leon Lowry, like
You don't want
You
to
cut it off. That's it.
Damn. All right. Leon Lowry. We need to hear your side of this. But I got one last one real quick. Maybe this will be I'll do this one. So we said the whole dating sister on the Syracuse locker room, who is the funniest? Like,
Oof.
or you can also do brings the most hype, like
Brings the
try those.
okay.
Whatever one you want to do. That's what I was.
You guys, Josh Alawa is a really funny dude. He's an offensive lineman. I think he's a sophomore or freshman. I don't know. Some of the sophomores and the freshmen on the team look like they're 35. So I don't know. But he brings a lot of juice, and he's just a funny dude. Like he does some, like he would grab dudes and like throw them in like the cold tub and shit.
Yeah, I
like,
saw that on TikTok.
Yeah, he's just like, he's a funny guy. So he's definitely one of them. And outside of that, I'm trying to think, but
Who do you say like your closest bud is on the team?
I think I became really close with all the
Pretty quickly,
linebackers. My roommate is Ryan Dolan. He's a sophomore he's from Cali, but the linebacker room just a bunch of good dudes. So they're insanely talented and good dudes. So Mikkel. I mean, you guys talked to Mikkel. Mikkel's
He's fucking awesome.
yeah, Mikkel's a great dude. He's like one of the best dudes you'll meet, and he's an amazing player.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
All right. I think that's. Anyone else got anything else?
No, I think
We're good.
Got to say, go Rutgers football, but I'm still glad to have Syracuse football.
Check it out. Taj didn't fumble.
Yeah,
Taj didn't
Rutgers
fumble.
game.
No.
Ellis, we know he didn't fumble. You've
Also,
seen-
the Bo Mel, one of your players was PI, and the Bo Melton didn't get called. So we can go back and forth on the game.
There's also we had a BS personal foul call in that game that totally turned the whole tide of the game. And
Did the refs just hit
I'll be
Syracuse?
honest, I do not
It
remember
must
that.
be because I go here.
no, yeah, it was a personal foul, and I think they called.
Oh,
Babers
on Dino Babers.
personal
Yes,
foul.
actually, I do remember that.
Yeah,
Because
but they
Shana-
called a personal foul, and that's why he got it. And there was a holding penalty on Rutgers on that play on like a 3rd and 10.
Well,
So
maybe,
it went from 4th and 20 to a first down.
Yeah.
So
maybe
and then
Dino Babers should intimidate the refs like Shiano does. You see Shiano, you don't want to call a personal foul on Shiano.
Shiano was on the sideline screaming.
I know, I remember
entire
that.
game.
He
And
told
Babers opened his mouth once, and they threw a flag.
the camera angle, like, well, I was watching the game obviously on the TV, texting Jacob, like talking my shit. And then the camera like went to Greg Shiano, and he's just pointing at the refs. He's like, "Get the fuck over here."
Exactly.
I was like,
they're
no,
that's
the
refs is a bitch. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here?
You're from Jersey, right, Eric?
Yeah, I know a lot of guys that are on Rutgers, and they just
You know that Jersey grit. You got
Yeah.
Shiano's got the Jersey grit.
Secret.
Yeah, exactly. All right, but yeah, that's all I got. That's all you got. Great to have you. Unless someone's got anything now, speak now. Forever hold your peace.
Yeah. Good.
All right.
That's it.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.